Hey everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Out Today and What I Missed, or Ottenwim, depending on how you want to pronounce things. I got 10 brand new albums for you this week, 6 out today, 4 I've missed. Let's get into it.
Let's get busy!
First up, we have the third album from Morbid Saint, with Swallowed by Hell.
Giggity.
Yes, this third album from the band might be a surprise because they are a long-running band, and they sound like one of those legacy bands that have a mountain of music, but with this only being the third album, they really show that it's all about quality, not quantity. And I dare say, after having the album as long as I have, and with future feelings, I feel like this is the best Morbid Saint album to date. And I know that might be heresy to some, but listen, it's got amazing production, the songwriting is spectacular, it feels like there's so much life to the band on this album in 2024. And what's a better way to be able to show off one of the best thrash underground bands that has almost a sense of death metal to them than to be able to praise them the way that they deserve. This is Morbid Saint at their best so far.
That's a clean burning hell, I tell you what.
Coming up next, we got the brand new album from the Pineapple Thief with It Leads to This. This seminal prog band is still going strong after 16 albums, and it's just amazing to see. Imagine a prog alternative mix, so kind of like Porcupine Tree meets Radiohead, and all those kind of bands all morphed together, but the Pineapple Thief was one of the first bands to do it right. And for some reason, this album feels like they cut off some of the fat on this album, which is strange to say because it clocks in at roughly the same time as most of their other albums at around 40 minutes throughout their entire discography. But this time, again, it just feels right. It's hard-hitting, it's straight to the point, it's emotional, it's everything that you would want out of a Pineapple Thief album. And I just can't say it any better than that. This is how you do prog rock right. Listen to it for yourself. Next up, we have the debut album from Red Temple Prey with Can It Get Any Worse? It's got this great alternative rock, alternative metal, shoegaze kind of feel to it. Musically, it reminds me of more of the somber, slow, mid-tempo moments of Torch, without getting into the doom stuff. More of the shoegaze era of Torch, which I truly appreciate what they're going on here for. I'm sure there's more like 90s alternative bands you could compare them to, but I like saying Torch for this reason. It's a somber album, it's a lot of coming of age kind of moments going on, which I truly appreciate, and just kind of the state of the world that we're living in right now, both personal and worldwide. It's not every day you get an album like this, and I love seeing where the band is at. The most mellow album that I probably have the entire list, but it's well worth your time if you want to explore it.
This day just can't get any worse.
Is the brand new album from Stygian Crown with Funeral for a King. This album is another one of those doom albums that caught me completely off guard, and I love it so much for that reason. It's got that great epic doom feeling behind it, yet it almost goes into slow, brutal death metal at the same time. I guess the way you can describe this is, imagine the epicness of the Epicus, Doomicus, Metallicus of something like Candlemass, but match it up sometimes with the precision and musicality of Bolt Thrower. There's no screams on this album, it's all clean vocals, but just imagine that musically. It doesn't feel like it should fit, but it fits together so perfectly. This is the kind of album that if you're not a Doom fan, but you are a death metal fan, I think you can find something to appreciate about this album, and hopefully, the rest of the metal world will agree.
Father McGrath, I thought you were dead.
I was!
And finally, for the albums that come out today, is the brand new album from Takeda with The Agony Flame. This is my first round with the band, and it's awesome to see what they're able to accomplish here. Apparently, over in Sweden, these guys are a big deal, but over here in the States, not that big of a commotion. Hopefully that'll change with this album review. All that said, I love what the band does here, at least particularly on this album. I'm gonna have to go back and check out the rest of it. This has like a really dark, almost gothic kind of feel behind it. I can hear bands like Sentenced and Him behind this album, yet I can also hear Top 40 Rock Radio at the same time. It's such an interesting mix, and especially, at least to me, the keys really stand out the most to me on this album. If you're looking for something that could be radio rock, but just has a little bit of a goth tinge to it, you really need to check out Takeda.
Every moment I live is agony.
And now let's look at the albums that have come out in the past in 2024 that I haven't checked out yet with What I Missed.
Come on, if this stuff is too nice for you, I've got some crap.
And starting that off is the debut album from Ad Nihilum with An Escape for the Guilty. Now this is another one of those albums that goes into a lot of extremes in that black and doom metal sound. Yeah, there's black metal, there's death metal, there's doom metal. It's all combined together in this glorious, unholy sound that just works so perfectly if you like things on the extreme end of things. You got your wicked double bass, you got your growls and screams, you got your slow, epic moments that you hear in doom metal, all combined together in a rock but clear production, songwriting that's absolutely mesmerizing, and a package that is not for the weak of heart. But for those that can really enjoy something like this has gotta be up your alley. Black and doom metal isn't the most accessible genre, but it should be.
Doomed!
Up next is the fourth album from the band Darkhaven, known as 4. Now, this is an album that is my first foray into the band, but I really love what they're doing here. I can hear 90s and 2000s melodeath going on here, but also at the right times, in the right choruses, I hear commercial top 40 hard rock. None of this should make sense, but it makes sense in all the right ways when you listen to it. It's so catchy, it could get people easily acceptable into metal if they're a rock fan, and vice versa. This is a great middle ground for showing people either side of the border when it comes to heavy music, and I'm all for that. Taking in mind the fact that the music's great, the production is cool, everything about this just hits in the right way. If you're looking for something that balances metal and rock perfectly, give this one a shot.
4-finger discount, dude.
Next up, we have the band Dead Yellow with their sophomore album, What's Left of Them. And this might be my favorite album of everything that I talk about today. This captures everything that I love about the atmospheric black metal, black gaze, post-black metal sound. I haven't been so intrigued by a black gaze album like this since Vetnet Viscar's Sky Swallower in 2013, and I hold that album to such a high regard. Of course, I hold Settler even better than that, but I was already familiar with that. But let me continue on here. There's so much to love about this album. The production is so clear, but just raw enough. The precision of the musicianship is top notch. Everyone in the band is just playing absolutely killer, and this is what this style of black metal is all about. I'd be amazed if anyone can outdo this kind of black metal album in this style in 2024.
Well, that's the end of me.
And finally today, we're ending on some power metal with the Grandmaster and their sophomore album, Black Sun. Another brand new band to me anyways, as I should have known about this band considering the guitarist of Edguy is a part of this album, and it's an all-star cast from members of Fate, Mind's Key, and a huge name at Frontiers Music. All of this is right up my alley. This is just fun, heavy metal, melodic heavy metal, and of course, power metal. Just done to an absolute T. Lyrically, it hits the gut a little bit. It's about the times that we live in right now, but it's not silly. It's not too serious. It's right in the middle where it's just fun to listen to. And I miss power metal albums like this, where you can just have fun listening to it from start to finish. I easily need to go back to the debut, and you should check out the Grandmaster if you're looking for some fun power metal as well.
Checkmate.
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 And there we go, folks. 10 more albums down for Out Today and What I Missed. What do you think? Did you find any new discoveries? Any of these albums you were already enjoying? Any albums that are not up your alley? Or do you think I'm just dumb for my own personal opinion? Let me know all of that down below. And of course, like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Plenty of good stuff going on here on the Heavy Debriefings YouTube channel. Interviews are back, the podcast is going strong, and of course, I'm doing this every single Friday. And until next Friday for this particular series, this has been Josh Runquist for the Heavy Debriefings YouTube channel, saying, embrace the skillet.